has a better chance. I think, he's got the chance he always had is he's dangerous. But I think he's always going to be dangerous. But I think in this fight, he's going to be dangerous in a different kind of way because just because of the circumstances, he's got a lot to prove.
What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So what you just heard was the voice of Hall of Famer, retired Hall of Famer, former pound-for-pound king, retired undefeated, Andre S.O.G. Ward, okay? Andre Ward is a great boxing mind. Andre Ward, obviously, he retired undefeated. Andre Ward is Olympic gold medalist. Andre Ward now is a colorful analyst for Top Rank and ESPN. But Andre Ward is somebody that knows the sport of boxing, whether you agree or disagree with Andre Ward. There's times where I disagree with Andre Ward, and there's times where I agree with Andre Ward. Andre Ward retired, 32 wins, no losses, no draws, 16 wins by way of knockout. He's currently, 37 years of age. He stands at 6 feet tall with a 71-inch arm reach. There is talks that Andre Ward could be making a ring return, possibly against 4-division world champion, Mexican superstar boxer, who's the current unified super middleweight world champion. And he possibly could be going into an undisputed match in September, that being Saul Canelo Alvarez, okay? Super middleweight is where Andre Ward, he reigned for the majority of his career. Now, eventually he went up to 175, light heavyweight. He challenged then the dominant fighter at light heavyweight, which was the champion, Sergey Crusher Kovalev. He beat Sergey Kovalev by decision first time. Second time, he stopped Sergey Crusher Kovalev, okay? With that said, Olympic bronze medalist, former WBC American heavyweight world champion, superstar boxer Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder is going into a highly anticipated trilogy match with his rival, undefeated two-time heavyweight world champion, British superstar boxer Tyson the Gypsy King Fury. Now, what's interesting is Andre Ward, he pointed this out. He stated that Deontay Wilder is always a dangerous fighter, but in this instance, in this case, he is going to be, even more dangerous, right, in a different way than he normally is. Now, what he's alluding to is Deontay Wilder, 42 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw. That loss and the draw coming at the hands of Tyson Fury. 41 wins by way of knockout. You heard it. 42 fights, out of 44 fights, he has knocked out 41 of his opponents. But the thing is, he's even knocked down and knocked out every opponent, because even Tyson Fury has hit the deck twice, and the other fighter that went the distance was Bermane Stiverne in the first fight, but he even hit the deck in the first fight. So he's knocked down and knocked out every opponent he's ever faced. 35 years of age, stands at 6'7" with an 83-inch arm reach. He's heading into this fight with Tyson Fury July 24th. So with that stated, Tyson Fury, is 6'9". He's 270 pounds with an 85-inch arm reach. Okay, so he's a very big guy. So Andre Ward, he says that in this situation, Deontay Wilder is being uncharacteristically showing you that he's being mute at the press conference. Everybody's pointing to the press conference the fact that he had on headphones. He didn't answer any questions from the media, and Andre Ward says he's going mute to the boxing world. Well, that's not true at all. Here's where I have to disagree with Andre Ward, because he didn't go mute to the boxing world. He was actually doing interviews with. He picked and chose who he wanted to do interviews with. Myself, he was on my show. He was on Fred Barbershop Conversations. He, picked and chose what media he decided to display his plans and what's next for him. Okay, he was on 78 Sports TV. So with that said, Andre Ward said he's choosing to go mute to the boxing world, which is not true as well, because even at the press conference, he spoke at the podium. Everybody dismisses that. He went to the podium, he spoke at the podium. Then when the media started to ask him questions, he put his headphones on. When Tyson Fury was talking and the media was asking questions and the mediator was asking questions, that's when he went mute. He went to the podium, he talked at the podium, and then he sat back down and put his headphones on. So when they say he went a mute, that's completely inaccurate. But in this situation, they fought twice, Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. Okay, and like I said, in the second fight, Tyson Fury, he got a stoppage victory in the 7th round. He dropped Deontay Wilder twice in the fight, and he got the 7th round stoppage. Deontay Wilder, he didn't look like himself. Again, he looked uncharacteristically not like himself, right? Okay, so with that said, he was out of character, didn't look like himself in the second fight, and at the press conference they say he's out of character putting the headphones on, okay? But he talked at the podium. Nonetheless, Andre Ward says in this fight, Deontay Wilder is going to be dangerous. He's always dangerous because he's a big puncher. He's the hardest puncher in the history of the sport of boxing. At one point in time, he had a 97% knockout ratio. Now it's down to 93 because of the last Tyson Fury fight, okay? But he has the highest knockout ratio in the history of sport of boxing currently, right now, as it stands. So Andre Ward is saying that, yes, Deontay Wilder is dangerous when you look at it from that standpoint, but he's going to be even more dangerous going into this trilogy match because his back is against the wall. He has nothing to lose, right? And Andre Ward is essentially stating that, you know, when you back a person or animal, anything into a corner, they're going to come out swinging. And here, his back is against the wall. He's backed into a corner. He has nothing to lose. He's already been written off. Everybody says that all he has is a puncher's chance. Everybody says that Tyson Fury just simply dominated him in the second fight. He brings nothing to the table, skill-wise. You know, he won the Olympic bronze medal because there was no competition there. But yet you have other guys that won Olympic gold medals, silver medals, and they're not talked about the lack of competition when you can't even name who won the gold medal, okay? Who won the gold medal when Floyd Mayweather was, in the Olympics, and he won the silver? Who won the gold medal when Roy Jones was in the Olympics and Roy Jones was robbed of his gold medal? What did those fighters do in the professional rankings? Who won the gold medal and the silver medal when Deontay Wilder was in the Olympics? You don't know who they are. But you know who Deontay Wilder is in the professional ranking system. So they tell you that he don't bring nothing to the table as far as skill set goes and technique goes. But Deontay Wilder won the bronze medal in just being in the sport of boxing for a year. So he can box, and he stopped Chris Arreola, who was a heavyweight superstar title contender. He never won the title, but he fought for many world titles. He stopped Chris Arreola with a jab, and yet Andy Ruiz, who's the younger guy, 30 years old, he just recently fought Chris Arreola, and Andy Ruiz is seen as a very skilled boxer, okay? He has very fast hands. He puts combinations together well. He has technical abilities. He's with power. He's seen as a very skilled boxer. He went up against against Chris Arreola 5 years later. When Deontay Wilder stopped Chris Arreola, he was 35 years old. Deontay Wilder stopped Chris Arreola with not his right hand, but with a jab. So contrary to popular belief, they'll lead you to believe he only has a right hand. But he stopped Chris Arreola with a jab. That's his left hand. Okay, the ref saw enough from a jab. 5 years later, fast forward, Chris Arreola at 40 years old fights Andy Ruiz, who's the skilled boxer, right? Who puts combinations together, has a high ring IQ, one of the best trainers than Eddie Reynoso. And who gets hurt and knocked down in that fight and it goes to the 12th round? You got it, Andy Ruiz Jr. Chris Arreola never seriously hurt. Chris Arreola hurt Andy Ruiz on 3 separate occasions, knocked Andy Ruiz down, okay, at 40 years old. So this is a testament to how good Chris Arreola is. Now, Chris Arreola, he didn't get the decision, and we know how that played out. He wasn't happy at the end. When the scorecards was read, he went off. But my thing is, Andy Ruiz went 12 rounds with a guy that's 10 years older than him, okay? He's the more skilled guy. He puts the combinations together well. He has respectable power. It's not like Andy Ruiz doesn't have power, because he has respectable power. And he went 12 rounds with Chris Arreola 5 years after Deontay Wilder stopped him with a jab. Technical jab. And his right hand was broken, and he had injury to his right arm. He couldn't even use the arm, and he stopped Chris Arreola with a jab. So that tells you everything you need to know about Deontay Wilder's skill set. It's not that he doesn't have the skill set or technique. It's that he doesn't always use the skill set and technique. And when he gets his opponent hurt, he gets a little flailing with his arms. He gets a little reckless because he's trying to knock his opponent out. How many fighters you see? We just saw Gervonta Tank Davis is one of the best skilled boxers in the world. Has one of the highest ring IQs in the world. Gervonta Tank Davis, when he got Mario Barrios hurt, if you go back and look at it, he started wailing his punches. Now, this is a guy that it's uncommon for Gervonta Tank Davis to waste punches. But look when he got Mario Barrios hurt. He started swinging wild. He started wailing his punches because he was just trying to get Mario Barrios out of there. This is what Deontay Wilder does. It just looks different because he's 6'7" and very rangy, very long and lanky. So when he starts wailing his punches, it looks overly sloppy. Okay, he gets over his feet. He gets a little bit off balance. Okay. When you're dealing with shorter, compact guys that are doing it, it doesn't look as bad because they're not as tall. When you get a guy that's over 6'3", 6'4", okay, their balance and their equilibrium is not the same. You could even see in the NBA when guys fall in the NBA. Most guys in the NBA is 6'3" and over. When they fall in the NBA, it looks so awkward. It looks so uncomfortable because they're big, long, rangy guys. Okay. So that's the case with Deontay Wilder. But Andre Ward says one thing. Deontay Wilder has nothing to lose. Everybody is counting him out. Okay, his back is against the wall. Now, Deontay Wilder is paying attention to his technical approach. Okay, he's paying attention to his skill approach. Okay, he's paying attention to other things outside of the right hand. And he's admitting that all he did was, after a while, he got comfortable. He got complacent with landing the right hand because once you know how to place your right hand, you can knock your opponent out, okay? And once you learn that you can knock your opponent out, then you start to fall in love with that. It's easier. It's comfortable. You don't have to exude a lot of energy. You're just waiting for the opening to close the show. And he said that he got comfortable with that, and that's some things he needs to make an adjustment with. And you can see he's focusing on head movement in his training. He's focusing on a bit of strength training. He's focusing on his left hand going to the body and things of that nature. So Andre Ward is completely right. He's going to be a different fighter, a different type of dangerous going in this trilogy match. Can't wait to see how it plays out. Even Ricky Hatton, fellow countryman of Tyson Fury, who's a 2-division world champion and superstar and a Hall of Famer in the UK, he even witnessed this, and he stated that this is a very different Deontay Wilder. You have Tyson Fury's father, Big John Fury. He even states that Deontay Wilder is going to be a revamped man in the trilogy. Tyson Fury even admits that he sees a change in Deontay Wilder, but he believes that once Deontay Wilder lands a right hand on himself, that he'll resort back to his old ways, start opening himself up, start flailing his punches, and that's when Tyson Fury feels like he'll capitalize and connect on Deontay Wilder and win the fight. So we got to see how it plays out. But that's all I got for y'all, man. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.
This is Amanda, the real deal Serrano, and you're watching Blue Blood Sports TV.